Good afternoon, Shaky SoCal Tool for Forza, and time for track guides for week 2 in our season in Forza Motorsport with the NASCAR 2024 NASCAR division. So we're actually going to do a double header at Indianapolis this week. So we'll run the first race on the GP circuit, and then run the Brickyard Oval in these NASCAR. So standard track guide. I'm going to start with the GP circuit first. And I'll run a couple of laps, talk about what I'm doing, probably do a little slower track walk, point out some things. Again, any of these track guides is mainly just like, this is how I'm going to approach the race as far as how to get this car around the track, things that I'm going to be careful of. I think with the lots of second gear corners, so definitely going to have to be, gentle on the throttle in some places. And then at the end, I'm going to do a practice race against the AI. Just to kind of see, again, I need to practice my racecraft. After Bathurst and taking Lanrell out, costing us both a decent finish, it's like, I need to work on my racecraft a little bit, but mistakes happen. Anyhow, with that said, enough talking. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to hop right up. Let's start running some laps. Okay, so we'll start from a standing start. Okay. We'll just run an out lap and then a flyer. See where things are at here. So coming down the front straightaway, I'm actually going to be looking for the 150 board. Now, on the lap heading out, I can probably brake close to the one. No, I can't brake close to the 100. Kind of. Between the 150 and the 100, when you first get started. Okay, hug the inside. Brake when you hit the end of the curbing on the right. Second gear, inside. Roll into the throttle. And abuse the hell out of these curves. It's nice having a car that you can take curves with and not have it crash. Brake right at the 150 board there, right at the curbing starts, down to third gear. I'm actually going to put it in second. Here's where you need to be a little bit careful. Again, I'm just going to kind of balance the car, happy feet in the pedals, a little bit of brake, a little bit of gas. Being careful not to give it too much gas and to spin the rears up. Short shift to third. On the banking, right as I back into the wall, right about the 100 board is braking back to the infield. A little bit late there. Tires are still cold. Second gear. Careful the wheel spin. Still second gear. I'm going to keep it mostly the inside. Shift to third, then roll into the throttle again. The car's pushing right now. The next lap to be a little bit better. Out onto the front stretch. So let's do a flyer and see what we can do. Again, for me, I'm going to brake at about the 150 board. It's just past the crane on the right. Go ahead and abuse this curb. And I can go ahead and abuse this curb a little bit, roll into the throttle, keep it the inside, third gear, brake at the end of the curbing, roll into the throttle, third gear. About mid-track, you don't need to go all the way to the right or left. Bring it back to the right. Right at the start of the curbing. And I don't really abuse the curbing there. And this, you can get on the curbing a little bit, but it does upset the car, a little bit. So just be careful. I was a little bit late out of the corner there. Out, brake. Yeah, I'm a little bit late there still. So the 100 is probably a little too late for the for that turn in. See, if I hold the throttle, the car's just going to start to push out, and you don't want to cross the grass there. You'll hit track limits. So that's kind of real quick what I'm doing. But let's just kind of slow it down, do kind of the track walk, and show you what I'm looking at. So again, I'm looking for the 150 board, at least for me, that's the most consistent, that if I can find that and brake about here, or just like get past it, um, that'll get the car slowed down enough for turns 1 and 2. So brake, 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 release the brakes. Again, ideally, I'm going to, and you'll see it as the rubber builds up during the race. I'm going to try and straddle this curving here. Um, Again, we got a left-right combo, or sorry, not left-right, right-left combo. Um, and while the back of this car is a lot more stable than, say, the the Jag we just finished the season with, um, I want to try and minimize how much the weight has to transfer from, in this case, let's see, yeah, from from the left side of the car to the right side of the car, how much, but then how quickly. So the straighter I can be and the less steering I have to make between these two turns, the more stable the car is going to be. The other thing too is, again, this car notoriously is going to be, it's very easy to spin the tires up in second gear, especially in the slower the corner, the easier it'll be if you're too aggressive on the throttle. So, and I've had it happen in the shakedown. It's, on the other side of the course. It's easy enough when you still have a lot of weight transferred. You get in the throttle too early or too quickly, the back tires spin up, and before you can catch it, the car just does this nice little lazy spin. So again, I'm going to try and, so all that being said, what I'm trying to do is, by kind of cutting this curving and straddling it, I'm trying to straighten the next two out, this next left-hander out, and take that as straight, a little steering as possible. I don't want to go all the way out and bring it all the way back. So second gear, going to bring the car out probably about mid-track, try to turn it. And in this one also, I am going to abuse the curbing as much as I can. I'm probably not going to be, if I'm doing anything with the throttle, it's just maybe just little maintenance blips, and not even fully in. It's just enough to keep the car moving forward, so it's not coasting and slowing down. Maybe we'll see, depending on the situations. I may do a little bit of a brush brake. Again, it's just about keeping the balance of the car. But once I'm past the apex here and I'm back 4 tires on the pavement and mostly straightened out, I'll start to roll into the throttle and try and get back to the throttle as quick as I can in second, pop it up to third as we head for the next turn. Gonna hug the inside curving here. Now, this turn for me has always been, it's a hard turn for me to sort out, because I never, again, I don't run the braking line, so I'm always trying to find like a reference point of where do I brake at. And this one, it's very similar to the last couple of terms of Mid Ohio in the madness of the S section, setting up for Thunder Valley. Where this one, it's like if you get the line wrong, you get to the brakes too late. You have no reference point. You're just going to go straight off. And Mid Ohio is a similar thing, where if you don't get the line right, and by the time you get to the brakes, the car's just going to push off on the left side of the track. So what I think is going to work for me is going to keep the car to the inside. As I get to the end of the curbing, this is about where I'm going to brake, and that usually gives me enough time to brake the car, have it come out across the track to the left side, to the curbing out here, drop it to second, and then release about here. Then I've now opened up the corner for the second part of, let's see, 1, 2, I guess it's turn 3 heading into turn 4. So second gear, bring the car down. You can get on the curbing a little bit here, maybe late. Out. See if you can keep the car about mid-track, and then at this point you're fully back on the throttle. I think it's best to keep it mid-track, just to line. Again, we want to take this chicane as straight as possible, and we can abuse the hell out of the curving as you saw in the demo lap. So if I get it right, I'm just going to go bumpity bump. I'm going to straddle this end part of this curving here onto the Holman straight, and really only need to bring the car about mid-track, on your own. If traffic, you're trying to pass, that'll dictate where you go there. But onto the Holman straight, start bringing the car back over to the right side. Braking for the last series of corners here is about the 150 board. Now, the funny thing is, I can't see the numbers as clearly just because of where the sun's at. It's not highlighting them. And again, they're a little bit blurrier at 200 miles an hour, or however fast we're going. So I'm actually kind of using where the curbing starts as that braking point, and then I can just, depending on the conditions, just make out the board. But fourth gear maybe here, brake, 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 down to third, down to second. I tend to do a later turn in, and I don't generally abuse this curbing for whatever reason. I think for this next series of turns, I just want to get the car through here, bring it out to the right. I'm not going to go all the way to the right. I might, somewhere between mid-track and the extreme right side. That seems to be the happy place for this car. Still second gear, and here's where I will, one of my cliches on these track guides is let the car do the work. This is one of these areas where you let the car do the work. You want to get to a pace where you can just kind of balance the car, just a little bit to throttle, maybe a little bit of brake. You don't want to do, at least for me, that's how I drive. Going fast enough where that's all you really need to do and steer the car, minimal steering. You just need to get the car through the corners. If you start doing a lot of extreme braking or extreme throttle, extreme steering, that's, with these left rights and the weight shift, to both sides of the car, you could get yourself in a situation where you loop the car or you lose the back end. Happened to Keanu Reeves, I think, through here when he raced with the Toyota G86s a few months back. Anyhow, so second gear, I'm going to abuse the inside curbings or the curbings here. I'll abuse it here. Just be mindful. Again, if you're going to drop tires in the grass on either side, be mindful of your throttle because, again, different levels of grip on the rear tires. And it is a bit bumpy. It does unsettle the car a little bit. Still second gear through here. Again, this last one, if you do it right, you should be able to straddle it through here. And again, since the inside of that one's paved, you can be a little bit more aggressive as you roll into the throttle, maybe a little earlier than you were for the previous ones. So second gear, third gear. I'll probably be flirting with the curbing here. Just try not to drop tires on the other side of it, because then it's difficult to get the car back over. Again, holding the inside, up onto the banking, into the short chute between 1 and 2. Now, this is one of my pet peeves with Forza between test drive, and I think it's the same in meetup, and then when you actually get into the race, the track environments are different. And I get it. It's like it's a test drive or it's a practice session. We don't have everything set up, but when we get into the race, we have all this tents and things set up. There's more things to see. I'll point out in the race, there's like a white tent right in here that's very easy to spot coming out back onto the track in the short chute that I'm kind of using as my reference point to brake. I think it's just before the 100 board. But generally speaking, if you've got the line right coming out, as the car comes back up onto the oval in the short chute and it gets to the wall, you figure once I'm at the wall and I'm kind of parallel with the wall, that's when I probably need to start braking because the turn back onto the infield comes up a lot quicker than you think it does. So fourth gear, brake, 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 back down to second. This is where I looped it in. This is where I looped it in the shakedown race that we did 2 weeks ago. On the turn in with the banking, you do want to try and cut this curbing as much as possible, but there is a definite bump, transition back to the infield because it flattens out. Very easy then because you're still going to have steering, you're going to still have right steering in, the weight's still going to be on the left side of the car. That's very easy to get too aggressive back on the throttle and break the rears loose and I just made this nice lazy spin into the infield. And again, once you start heating these tires up, you lose grip, and then you're struggling trying to get the car back under control, which then you spin again. So just be careful getting back to the throttle. Get the car onto the infield, and as you start to straighten out, then you can start rolling back into the throttle. I think you'll see the drivers. I think the braking line goes all the way to the left side. I tend not to do that. I tend to cut this one a little bit to mid-track, ideally, because I am already thinking about the left-hander here, then that leads back onto the front straightaway. So second gear here, bring the car back out a little bit. I'm going to brake just as I kind of visually, it's like when the last cone goes out of view. I think spatially, it's about when the car is, I don't know, do I have? No, I don't. Actually, hang on. No, not that one. this one. There we go. So I think spatially it's about when the car's about halfway, for this, this other access road, I guess for like the other, when they had the other reverse short course that we would take this through onto the back stretch. Um, that's about halfway. That's where I'm going to do another little check brake. Still probably second gear here to get the car slowed down. If I do it right, what I'm trying to do is get the car, and you can see the inside curbing. It widens out a little bit, the apex, and you see the whole bunch of dirt on it where previous drivers have crossed over. I'm not going to cross over the curbing, but I will get the left sides on this part of the curbing as we come out of this corner and get ready to set up for the final corner onto the front stretch. Um, I in previous track guides I've thought like, oh, I need to bring the car out a bit, to mid track to set up for this one. And during that race, and then even practicing here, I don't know. I think, and I don't know what the suggested line is, but I think actually it's probably better to keep the car mostly to the, certainly exit here, but as you're bringing the car up to speed in the second and the third gear, if you want to bring the car off a little bit, you can. But for me, the timing on this turn in with this car uh, lines up with the upshift between I think third and fourth. And again, I don't know which gear it is, but there is an upshift here. Um, bring the car out, start to accelerate full throttle. As you're kind of getting where it's starting to turn, you're going to have to upshift. What I'm going to do, um, and what seems to work best for me, is on that upshift, I'm actually going to back out of the throttle. As I upshift, I'm going to back out of the throttle and then just roll back in. And the whole point is that it just delays the throttle enough, puts a little weight in the front. The car turns, the front tires will grip a little more and hold the inside. And then as I roll back into the throttle, then, there will be a bit of understeer. Uh, but then the car just seems to be in a better place on the exit. Certainly on cold tires, you're probably going to need to stay out of the throttle maybe a fraction longer before you roll back in. So just be mindful on the start of the race and on your out laps. But once you're up to speed, and usually that upshift is kind of about where the tire barrier transitions from the blue and white striped tire barriers to kind of the solid uh, concrete wall there. So the upshift for me is about here, and then it's roll into the throttle. You'll still be able to hold the inside, and then I'm just trying to. For me, it's like I'm going to bring the car out. Probably more often than not, I'm going to flirt with track limits on the left side with the grass. And this is probably not the idealist line out. Third, fourth gear, and onto the front stretch. Don't scrape the walls. Comes up quicker than you think if you're not paying attention. And that's a lap of Indy GP. At least that's how I'm going to approach the lap at Indy GP. So that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to run the mock race. I call it a mock race, or a race simulation. There we go. And with what I think the race distance will be, and again, for me, I want to get out there and practice. If I don't get a chance to do any kind of online practice sessions with you guys before Thursday, this gives me at least some kind of feel for where I can set up passes, what to watch out for, and just get some laps under my belt. So I'm going to go ahead and quit race and take a drink of water. All right, let's go to advanced setup. So what I'm going to do is, it makes me pick the car first, even though I'm going to load settings. So I'm going to select my road course car. Don't think we'll quite get it to 50 in this race, but let's find out. Let's go ahead and load options, because I was poking around with this before I started the live stream. Okay, load. And I'm going to put my thumb on the scale as far as setting time of day, because this is, I'm actually we're going to race at midnight. I know, like we said that Bathurst was probably not a good idea to run at just at night, because there are portions of that track that are just pitch black in a car with no headlights. I actually think Indy, we might have some options here. You know what? We'll do random for now. 823. Okay, so I'm going to start. yeah, I'm gonna bucket. I want to make sure I start at the back, so I'm gonna do a one. I've got my own bucket with a 1 second delay to them. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna do anything here. We still have them at 860, so I am trying to balance performance a little bit. So I'm gonna put them up to 862 since that's my max PI. NASCAR division, because I think I can't go lower than 855 because that's what their base uh, PI is. All right, sport rules. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to up the roll-off delay. Let's do it to a second. And then just pointing everything else out. How many mandatory pit stops? This looks to be, let me pull up my notes here. 5, 8, and 10. So this is about this is a one-stop race. If you want to, if you're going to play well, no. Is it a one-stop race? It's going to be questionable. It's that you could do it in a one-stop race, but you are going to be running, because even if you do a medium, well, let me finish loading this in and then we'll talk about tire strategies that I'm horrible at, by the way, so don't listen to anything I say. All right, so we're going to start at midnight. Please no rain. Okay, good. Are you going to tell us anything about Indianapolis? Oh, it is raining. Is it drizzle? Yeah, it's drizzle. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, weatherman says it's not going to do partly cloudy. No, not afternoon. Midnight. Oh, let me back out of that event info. Okay, partly cloudy, midnight. Thank you. That's what I wanted. All right, so let's talk about tire strategies. At least when I did the testing, it's soft, medium, hard, 5, 8, and 10. So if it is a 21 lap race, that's again that 60% kind of mark. That you're doing. If you do a hard and medium, you do a stint on hard mediums. It's only 18. You got 3 laps. You got to figure out if you're going to do it in one stop, you're going to have to run long on one or both stints. And it might be worth to try it in a one stop. This pit lane, I think, is one of the longer ones. Otherwise, if you want to do a two stopper, then, even then, you're kind of looking at you might have to run you can either do one stint on each tire or, and have extra laps to play with. You can run a shorter stint on the hards. Actually, let me go like 8, 8, 16. No, you could do 2 stints. If you're going to do 2 stints, you could do 2 stints on the mediums and a stint on the soft, and that's your 21. So I think the one stop's going to be the way to go. I will experiment with that and see how I do, because I actually want to run. I want to see what the tire wear is like. Anyhow, that's I'm talking more than I should be driving. You're not here to hear me talk. You're here to see me drive, and let's go ahead and do that. So car, oh, nope, event. Let's just make sure 21 laps. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I can talk as I drive. Well, no, I've already proven I can't talk and drive at the same time. So we'll give it a shot. Yeah, Bathurst at night. There were sections that, oh, that's what I wanted to do. I knew I was forgetting something. Hang on. Damn it. I wanted to do one. I want to back out and restart this race because what I want to do is, just because I'm running at night and just maybe a little extra immersion for me on this one, is I do want to turn off the gamer tag displays above the cars. I forgot to do that. Though I don't have to restart the race. I can do that from here. So gameplay in HUD, I believe. Do, 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 do. Messaging, no. Proximity radar. Names over car solo off. That'll be fine for multiplayer. Okay. Okay, good. I don't have to restart the entire race. Let's just go ahead and get going. Oh, I'm on the medium tires with way too many I'm just gonna deal with it. I'm out of practice. I didn't get my fuel and tires set the way I wanted them. So we're starting on the mediums with a full tank of fuel. So, all right. Well, let's see. We're gonna get about 8 laps out of these. Nice thing is I got plenty of fuel for the race. There's that white banner that's not visible in next lap. I should be able to roll in a little bit sooner there because the tires will be kind of fully up to 10. I should stay off that curbing. Whoa, that was almost an accident. It gets a little dark back here, but it's not as dark as Bathurst was. Look. A little bit of a tank slapper there. So it's second to third, not third to fourth. Third to fourth is here. gagging cars. Oh, wow. Repeat of splitting the cars of Bathurst on lap 1. I didn't check. I didn't totally focus. I didn't do a tire check at the end of lap 4, so we'll do it here at 5. Imagine I'm probably somewhere in the mid-30s on that left front. High 30s, okay. A little bit of a lockup. Just don't seem to like racing side by side through that chicane. think I will pick this lap. Though, you know, for kicks and giggles, I'm going to put an extra lap on the mediums. And switch to the hard. And then that means I'm going to have to do 12 laps then. 12 laps? Right. Yeah. On the hard tires. And then we'll see how, we'll see how sketchy it is at the end of the stint. Moderate. Okay, so the 8-lap guesstimate is still accurate. Oh, come on, come on. It's like a switch. Once they hit 60, it's like, all right, we're going to just take all the grip from you. It's a little bit late on the brakes, but okay, there I abused the curbing. So I think I'm really trying to be conservative through here. Okay, pit entry. Bring the car all the way to the right, and then don't do that. It's kind of like Spa, you know, have the car all the way to the right side and just kind of follow it in. I'll have to work on that. Hard tires, plenty of fuel, and let's see where we wind up. Okay, and I gotta figure out where to brake for turn 1. Right at the kind of the blend line that you cross over seems to be the right spot. Oh. Cold tires on the outside. It's one of those, should know better. This is why we practice. So we don't make those kinds of mistakes in the race, we make all new ones. That's late. A little too much gas there between the corners. Turning a little bit early there compared to the rubbered end line. I'm starting to cheat out a little bit. You got to open the turn up. The rubber end line goes a lot further out to the edge of the course than I'm comfortable doing. Have to tweak drive char settings or delays or like that, because while it's nice early on to kind of work the way up through the field, at this point I am in kind of hot lapping mode. Since I've got clear track in front of me, it's just a question of I don't know that I've got enough laps to run Johnny down and pass him to see if. And I'm assuming driver tires aren't going to hit a second time. I may have to adjust their PI things maybe to get a few more cars running at my pace or quicker. I wouldn't mind if they were going a little quicker. Their gear, not too bad. Probably break a smidgen later there for the off the Holman straight. Bit of understeer. Oh, he did have to pit a second time. Okay. So we'll need to do a tire check this lap to see how 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 much trouble I'm going to be in at the end of the race. Might have to go. I might get to practice defensive driving. It is second and third aren't too far behind, and we're coming up on lap traffic. They're pitting. Okay, well, oh, tire check. Maybe not right before the braking. Where are we at? 30. Okay, so 33A, 34. So we're looking at almost 70% to do 11 laps or 12 laps on the hard. So not too bad. Again, I think it's just something that Forza needs to work on. It's like, I don't know what the driver was thinking. It's like, my car's there. I don't know why you're turning in as if I'm not there, but curbing. And that's about as close to track limits as you want to get transitioning back onto the front straightaway. Excuse me. Is the better part of valor. It's a lap car. I don't need to be over aggressive. Decent margin behind me. And that's what happens when you get too aggressive with the throttle in second gear. Got out of rhythm on braking. Too gentle. Car up on the inside. there. Copy that. Not the ideal line through there. Oh, yeah. Away with a lot better tires than I thought. Again, it's always that mystery of, I mean, I know that any kind of scrub or when you're heating the tires up, it's increasing the wear, but then like, how does that play? Certainly the track is more rubbered in than it was at the start of the race. How much impact does that have on tire wear as the race progresses? Does it, you know, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say because the track is fully rubbered in. Say again, I can't talk about it at the same time, but it is like how much does it impact the wear when I should just stop talking. Because that 20-second lead's going to go by really quick. No, again, it's just, you know, does the rubbering, how significantly does the rubbered in track reduce tire wear over the course of the race? Because I was predicting we're at 60% now. I doubt I'm going to put 10% on this tire on that left front before the end of the race. So we'll see. Again, can't talk and drive at the same time. Second gear. Maybe I will put almost 10% on that tire. So that's Indy GP. Again, for me, the story on how to get around this track is just patience with the throttle in any and all of the second gear corners, which there are a lot. So And race time 31:24 for 21 laps. Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me if it's a little bit less than that. Excuse me. By the when we race on Thursday, when you start factoring in bucket delays and like that. So it might be 19 or 20 laps. So that's Matt's decision. I just try to pick something and go with it. But that'll do it for this track guide. I'm going to take a slight break, probably be back in a little bit. For race 2 for this coming Thursday, it'll be on the Brickyard Oval. That one probably will be a night race. I think that might be the trend that Matt's doing this season. So anyhow, hope you're having a great Saturday, and we'll see you on track soon. Happy racing. Oh, wait, I got to see the podium. I'm on the podium. Hey, Wilfred. Johnny Focus. And yes, I try to match my uniform to the car I'm driving. So, Rainbow Warriors, rainbow uniform. All right. Hope you guys having a good afternoon. Happy racing.